Hey, y'all. Welcome to episode 21, Travis, I think.
Dang it, I wasn't counting.
Episode 21,
yes, 21
of the Marty Smith podcast here at Outsider. We got all kinds of stuff to discuss today. I had a big weekend in Knoxville, Tennessee. I had a big week in Nashville, Tennessee. Travis's Ohio State Buckeyes continue to ascend through the ranks. Wesley Blankenship's Georgia Bulldogs hold serve in Knoxville to remain the number one team in the country. And I want to start, though, by once again thanking our veterans. Last week was Veterans Day week, and I met a whole lot of you at SEC Nation, Marty and McGee, at the CMAs, at the Eric Church Show in Thompson Bowling Arena. And I just want to say one more time on behalf of every one of us that's involved at Outsider, how grateful we are for you.
No doubt.
When you get a moment to hear the stories of our veterans, it sure does make our daily frivolity seem pretty weak and pretty small. What they do, I just got done reading a book, fellas. First of all, good morning. Thank you again for joining us, Travis and Wes, with me today. Brandon's back there behind the board. He'll chime in when random things like American Girl dolls come up. I just got done reading a book called Countdown Bin Laden. It's by Chris Wallace. I think Chris is with Fox News. I should know that, but
he is.
All of you would know his face and certainly his work. And it's an unbelievable account of the 247 days between the moment that the CIA operatives brought the information about the compound in Abbottabad, I think is the right way to say it, Pakistan, to Leon Panetta, then the CIA director, and the wheels began to turn to our SEAL Team 6 badasses putting a bullet in Osama bin Laden's head. It's a fascinating account. And Chris cobbled together a lot of the reporting on all the various networks. He had personal, lengthy interviews with not only SEAL team members, but with government officials, their accounts. And it was just a fascinating read. And again, it was yet another reminder for me what's going on, what our military is doing that we don't know, to make sure that they preserve our freedom. So thank you guys and gals for that. You are amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, Marty. I've been reading through the John Krakauer book about Pat Tillman called Where Men Win Glory. And, that's a little bit different side, a little bit different account. But he talks about the training he went through and everything that happened in those early days in Iraq, and just all the stuff that can't be predicted that can go wrong. And I don't know. I mean, when you read the actual words and actually immerse yourself in the things that are actually going on over there and have gone on in any number of wars, it personalizes it in a way that, like you said, removes us immediately from our daily frivolity. I think that was a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is kind of wild, the things that we concern ourselves with, especially guys like us 3, 4, who get to talk about country music and college football and share our passions thereof. I want to share something with you guys that was personal, but it was very important to me, and it pertains to this podcast. Jan Gomes, Major League Baseball player, I was at an event on Friday night. I was at an event after Eric's show in Thompson Bowling Arena. And I did not know Jan. And he walked up to me and he said hello and he introduced himself and he started discussing our podcast and how much he loves that we're willing to stand up for what we believe and that we kind of wear those convictions on our respective sleeves. And how he feels like it's very rare in today's world that guys are willing to do that. And it meant so much to me. And I told him, I'm like, well, you're screwed now, dude, because now you got to be a guest.
Yeah, now I'm going to hit up his agent like this afternoon.
Yeah, you don't have to. I got his number.
There we go.
We
Even
can
easier.
just call him. But, this guy's won a World Series championship. Like, he has been at the absolute mountaintop peak of professional sports. And so he knows what that is. And for him to take the time to share that with me was very humbling. And we wonder, for those of you listening and those of you watching, we always wonder, are we just talking to the stars? Like, are we just talking to the planets and talking to the atmosphere? Because we don't know. We do this because we love it, and we hope that you guys enjoy consuming it. So when any of you have feedback, we're grateful. But when somebody like that takes the time to be that vulnerable and share himself that way was awesome for me. And I wanted you two to know that, because we just try very hard to just be dudes. Like, we're sitting around having a couple cocktails and talking about what the guys at the cooler are talking about. And so thank you for that, Jan. And again, we'll talk to you soon.
Good job,
on
Jan.
the podcast here.
Speaking
Thank you, Jan.
Speaking of drinking, Marty, how's your liver doing?
Buddy, it's on strike.
It's walked
So,
out.
all right, so let's back up to Wednesday. Lainey and I go to the CMA Awards, and we always love going to that event. We're blessed. We got a lot of friends who are involved in the event at every level, in the production side, in the public relations side, band members, and artists. And so it's fun, especially when, Entertainer of the Year includes a few of your really good buddies, and you just don't know who's going to win it. But when Chris Stapleton started winning everything else, anybody who knows anything about that event knows it's very hard to sweep. It just doesn't happen because of the way that the politics work. And, hey, I'm going to give you all my votes for this award, so maybe you'll hand me your votes for that award. And when Chris won Male Vocalist of the Year, I looked down at Jimmy Rector, who's a buddy of mine who works at one of the labels, and actually had more than one artist involved in the Entertainer of the Year. And I looked down the row at Jimmy, and I was like, dude, we got a shot here. And I was talking about Eric, but I just knew, both of you guys called it. I think both of you guys said you felt like Luke was going to win it. And he did. And congratulations to Luke and to Chris Cappy and to Austin Harp and everybody involved on his team. They deserve it. They earned it. And I'm thrilled for those guys, because what a group of talented entertainers that was up for that award. So congratulations to Luke and all his team.
On that voting, though, it just shows kind of the games that are played, because if you win the first 4 categories, how are you then not Entertainer of the Year? That's like a let's say that,
what's the spirit of the award?
That's like a quarterback winning every quarterback award, everything, and then the Heisman goes to somebody else. Like, how does that happen?
Like,
for the record, I'm happy for Luke, but
that's the way it works right now. I could get way, way deep into the weeds on it and really explain it to y'all. But look, this is not like a couple of years ago when I did not believe in my soul that Garth Brooks deserved Entertainer of the Year. I didn't feel like he did. And a lot of people will look at the tickets, look at what he's doing in this arena or that arena. Fine. I know that Eric Church played 3.5 hours a night without an opener and didn't win it. So
there has to be a
whatever.
Subjective quality to it, right? Like, to Travis's Heisman comparison, there's got to be the Heisman moment, right, to be the Entertainer of the Year. And I think that's what we're hitting at with Luke.
You also got to remember that there is a substantial difference between the way that the Heisman is voted for,
yes,
and the way that this is voted for. Other players aren't voting for the Heisman.
Man, that would
the
be
media
awesome, though,
is voting for the Heisman.
If you're a former Entertainer of the Year, you should get a vote for the future.
They do.
Yeah,
I think they do. Again, you could break it. The radio has votes, labels have votes, bookers have votes.
How do we get a vote, Marty?
Well, I should have one.
This podcast should get
know
one.
how
in
we
your
get
Twitter
one,
bio.
They would probably consider me biased, but isn't everybody else that's voting biased?
Well, this podcast could get one vote, and we'll discuss it. Like we'll have an episode where we just break down how we're going to vote as a team. One vote.
Yeah, you'd have to do it after the fact, maybe.
Yeah,
or
after
maybe
the
we
fact.
could just lay our cards out on the table.
Yeah, no, we put it out ahead of
a couple
time.
Birds and say this is who we're putting in.
Yeah, we let the world know who we're going to vote for. So one vote has already been casted publicly.
Yeah.
But back to your liver, though.
Yeah, that's where we got started here.
So,
that was Wednesday. We're only through Wednesday.
So Wednesday, the show was amazing, by the way. Oh, I want to say one more thing about Luke that I've been considering. The balls it takes to walk out at an awards show and play a song that nobody's ever heard before was tremendous. And not only was it ballsy to do it, the delivery was deft. He killed it.
He called a shot.
Absolutely killed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys, a lot of you listening may not have seen the ceremony. You may not know about the song yet. It's called Doing This.
It's fantastic.
It's just fantastic. And not only that, Luke and Harp hit me up and said, have you watched the video yet? I got multiple notes asking me, have you watched the video yet? If you've not gone to YouTube, do it. Go to YouTube, type in Doing This Luke Combs, and watch that video. Full disclosure, I watched it for the first time yesterday walking my dog, and I cried. It's one of those things that when a lot of times we know that Luke Combs is a superstar. We know that Eric Church, Chris Stapleton, Miranda, Carey, Aldine, blah, 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 on and on, are superstars. We don't often, and this applies to athletes too, we don't think about all of those steps to get there and all of those people that helped us get there. And that video is a tribute to one of those people who helped Luke get there. And I'll leave it at that. It's very well done.
It's a song it's a song that
like
every person can relate to.
Yeah, 100%. I was about to say that.
It's about why
the
you do
in
it.
The music video is to one person, but you can hear it and also think, like, no matter how successful you are in your field, if you're fortunate enough to do what you love for a living, it doesn't matter how big you get. You would be doing it no matter what, just because that's what you do.
Like, you could be a 5th grade math teacher, and there's that person that you owe, some of your success to. And like, whatever your profession is, you can find something in that song. That's what makes it so great, is it's a song for every person, the common person.
Yeah, I love Wes's point. You're so right, because the whole premise of the song is, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing this. And in Luke's context, he's playing to 14, 15,000 a night in arenas all over the country. And if he wasn't doing that, if he hadn't gotten that break when he got it, he may have never gotten it. The industry is so fickle and so difficult to penetrate at a commercially successful level. I mean, guys like Cody Johnson and Tyler Childers, Coulter Wall, that we love here at Outsider, are mega stars, and they sell a lot of tickets. Kip Moore, but they just, radio doesn't care. And so what Luke,
I think to a certain extent, some of those guys don't care though, right? Like they don't,
but they'll tell you they don't.
But they do. They'll
tell you they don't. I hear this stuff all the time. Oh, that doesn't matter to me. If you're telling me Cody Johnson doesn't want his work on mainstream country radio, he may tell me that, but I don't know that I believe it. Now, I've never met Cody. I've never looked a man in the eyes, so I don't know how he feels about these things. All I know is that his work is transcendent. That new record is stupid. If y'all have not heard it, go get it. If you got Spotify, and even if you if you're too cheap to, you're still listening to the ads, like LeBron. Remember how LeBron said that? That made me laugh so hard. He's like, "No, I don't pay for Spotify. I don't listen to some ads."
I don't either.
Wait, he doesn't pay for it? Oh,
No,
man,
LeBron-
it is the best investment you can do. I think it's better than any of the streaming TV services if you are a big music listener, because I have it playing all day. And if there were ads, I think I'd pull my hair out.
Here's how Spotify I don't pay for. The only reason that I have a premium Pandora account is my brother got the family account, which comes with 6. He's a family of 5, so there's one extra out there. But before that, it was always the free account, or like if I'm traveling, you do a download a free like 3-month trial or whatever. But yeah,
Laney got it
I'm
for
not
me
paying
for Father's Day. That's what Laney got me for Father's Day, and I thought it was the greatest gift ever. Like, I was so excited. One year she got me my very first Bluetooth speaker, and it was like I won the lottery. And then last year she got me, or it might have been 2 years ago, she got the paid for Spotify thing. And you're right, we got the family thing too, Travis. Our whole family has their own account.
See, that's a brilliant move by Lainey. This just shows why she is the brains of that household. Is she got you a gift that is then going to benefit her, because when you put music on outside, she doesn't have to listen to the commercials. That is a brilliant move. Significant others need to piggyback off that in the future. That is a brilliant move, Lainey.
Yeah, that's
That's
how
the
she
gift
rolls,
that keeps
big dog.
on giving all year.
We love it. And all right, so we still haven't gotten to my liver. So Wednesday,
What'd you do to it on Thursday?
we go out. We enjoy the CMAs. I got to see my former boss, Scott Bailey, at the show. He is now the biggest dog at the Circle Network over at the Grand Ole Opry. And so it was good to see Scott and his wife, Debbie, and my buddy, Ty Norris. And then we go out after that, and we had a throwdown. I mean, throwdown. I will not name the attendees, but it was like what we've all been comparing it to was the Star Wars bar scene. If I name dropped the people at this party, you guys would be so cross-eyed trying to put all those people in the same place. Laney and I are still downloading it. So
Who's one name that wouldn't care if you name drop? Do we have one?
I mean, there's a few probably.
Well, let me ask you this then. Were there any shots taken? Because last week on the podcast, we discussed shots and how you don't take them. Any
There
shots
were.
consumed?
There were. I was standing at the bar at this party, and a buddy of mine whom I've not seen for a while, who just sold 40,000 tickets in 90 minutes to a couple shows he has coming up, walked up to me and bear hugged me and said, "Gonna take a shot of Fireball." And so I took a shot of Fireball, and I'm still feeling it 5 days later. I don't do shots. I hate them. But I did do it that night. By the way, if you're going to take shots, Fireball is probably the go-to.
I took a shot of Fireball Saturday.
That'd be cold though.
Saturday afternoon, I took a shot of Fireball. I met a couple friends to watch the Ohio State game, and during the third quarter, they got a call from their realtor that the house that they put an offer in here in Nashville, they got it. So there's like, we're doing shots. I'm like, all right, it's 5 p.m., 5:30 in the afternoon. Shots it is. So luckily, they brought chilled Fireball.
My background, this is funny. So my buddy Greg Lears, who works at Brown Foreman, represents Jack Daniels and has forever and ever. I mean, I've probably known Greg for 15 years. He loves the show too. Thanks, Greg. And he said to me last week, he's like, "I'm sending you a bunch of new product because your background needs some sprucing up." Like Bullet, like I had like Bullet showing. I don't even know what some of these are. They're gifts from
Greg,
people,
do you need my new address, Greg? Let me know. I can send it to you.
I'll have
That
Greg
backdrop
send.
needs some work too.
I'll
Greg.
have Greg send you guys some goodies. He'll hear this. He won't. I won't have to tell him. But
so
the party was off the chain, and I got to see superstars collaborating and singing karaoke songs, and it was just a really neat night. And then I don't know what time we finally bailed out of there, 3:30 maybe, something like that. Jumped into bed, and my son Cameron called me at 6 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep after that. Flew home, and that was Cameron's birthday. And so I know what he called for his 16th birthday. Here's another tangent for you parents out there. I now have a legal driver. My son just got his driver's license an hour ago.
Oh, wow. How do you feel about that?
It's scary. I will say, in North Carolina, kids have to drive 60 hours with their parents, and that includes 10 in the dark. And so I have driven. What's that?
How do they?
That's not like that's like at night.
The app can tell when it's dark.
That's at like nighttime, right? Not a. You don't put a blindfold around your eyes, right? Just in nighttime.
Yeah, the app.
Talladega Nights with the cougar in the car.
That car is sweet, dude. By the way, that Talladega Nights Cougar car. It's an old 442, right?
What's a cougar doing in the car?
Anyway, so I've driven extensively with Cameron, and he does a damn good job. I give him credit. He does a really good job. He's attentive, and he listens. And, a lot of parents out there will relate to this. He is so much less stressed with dad in the car than with mom in the car. Because mom's reactions are a little more dramatic than dad's. Whereas I'm like, all right, buddy, they're stacking up in front of you. Slow down. You can see the brakes. Laney's like, and that doesn't go over well. And so it is scary. It's scary that he has his license, and the thought that he, today, if he wants to, can get in the car, in the truck, and drive away. That is a terrifying prospect for me, but I do trust him, and I know that he's more than capable. He's done a great job, but it's not really about him. I mean, I tell him all the time, it's what my daddy told me from the second I started driving on my farm at 8 years old around the hayfield, drive like they're trying to kill you. And it's just scary, dude.
I remember when I got my license, one of the rules at the start was I wasn't allowed to have anybody in the car with me. And so I was leaving swim practice, and of course I broke the rule and had a friend. Well, I forgot that my dad was a mailman, so that means he had 90 spotters around town that knew what car I had. Bro. And so I get home, and he calls me. He's like, "Hey, what'd I tell you?" I'm like, I forgot.
Yeah,
I
the way it works here. The way it works here is they can only have one person with them. And so I don't know what it's going to be like when I am standing there and I watch him drive away by himself. That hadn't happened yet.
Is he going to drive to school tomorrow by himself?
Well, he doesn't have a car. And I'm leaving this evening. I got a speaking engagement tomorrow, and then I got another feature down in Wes's neck of the woods at the University of Georgia on Wednesday.
Who are you talking to?
Jordan Davis.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he's all right. I think he's got a decent future. I don't know about y'all.
Moderately large human.
I mean, yeah, I think he probably needs to get in the weight room if he wants to make it in the league. He's might get pushed around a little bit at that size.
I just thought of this. We're going to go on a little tangent. Who's the last dominant player? Because when you said his name, the person that came to mind was Ndamukong Suh at Nebraska. I'm trying to think of other players that have just dominated at the level
I
like
think
Jordan
there's
Davis
two
had.
of them right now. Will Anderson is unblockable at Alabama too. I think he's the best player in America.
They should both have seats in New York, no doubt.
I'm a voter. They're going to be. I'm a voter.
Is there a way that if I can send you a gift, can I get CJ Stroud on your ballot? How does this work? Can I bribe you?
It'll be really interesting. Actually, I have some news. To share about the Heisman Trophy for our great listenership.
I like news.
I got a phone call last week that was a blessing beyond description. ESPN has added me to the Heisman Trophy broadcast team.
Wow.
So I will be one of the people that's interviewing the players and the coaches at the Heisman ceremony. And I'm blown away by this. And I got emotional because I know what it mean to my dad. And it's just so funny, man. I go back to that all the time, that no matter how long he's been gone and no matter what comes, what else is placed on my plate or amazing opportunities, that's where my mind always goes. I have spent every day of my life trying to make my dad proud. And I know that would do it. So it was emotional for me. So yeah, who knows, Travis? Maybe I'll be interviewing your boy.
I mean, if you don't put him on your ballot, we're gonna have a conversation. I'm not saying that you have to.
Why does he deserve to be on the ballot, Travis?
I think right now, I mean, he's performing. Give a quarterback that you would take over. Like, I don't think that Bryce Young is. Everyone's saying Bryce Young because he's Alabama's quarterback. I don't think he's.
It's almost like a default when I see Bryce's name at the top of the odds.
Yeah,
feels like he just needs to be there because he's Alabama's quarterback.
Who would y'all put top 3 right now?
Not to slam what he's done, but I hear what you're saying.
Top 3 right now. Whew. I mean, I think I might go with Jordan Davis at 1.
I think Jordan's 3. I think Bryce is 2. I just don't know who number 1 is.
Where is Matt
It's just
Corral?
such a Corral might be 1. I mean,
Corral's up there, boys. I mean, you think about, all right, first of all, now we're going to transition into college football. We're all over the place. That's just how y'all.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome to the show. What Ole Miss did last weekend, I actually said this on Marty and McGee or SEC Nation 1, that I felt like Ole Miss was too beat up, especially on the offensive line, to prevent Texas A&M's really good defense from teeing off on Matt Corral. I believed that. I felt like that just based on watching what I was seeing and analyzing what I was seeing and talking to other people who've forgotten more about football than I'll ever know was an accurate assessment. It was dead ass wrong. And I actually was talking to Lane Kiffin about it Sunday morning. I was like, dude, I didn't see this coming. And I don't think anybody did. And that was a tremendous victory for Ole Miss. To me, I've tried to think back over the last 24 hours or so what victory I felt like was more impressive this season than that victory, given the context of Ole Miss's injuries and how well Texas A&M has been playing. I think A&M over Bama might be the only one. What am I missing, Travis? I know there's other. Who did Purdue beat? Purdue beat Michigan State
and Iowa. Oregon went into Columbus.
Oregon beat Ohio State. So, but it's up there.
One name that we can stop, and I said he didn't even deserve to have it mentioned at the beginning, but we're officially done with Caleb Williams. Take his name out of the Heisman. It was dumb to begin with, and thankfully it's done.
It wasn't dumb to begin with.
He didn't play the first.
Down.
He didn't play in like the first 3 games, Marty.
It's the Lincoln Riley quarterback.
It's the same thing as a Bama quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, you just look at it and you're like, okay, he's in there until he isn't.
Actually, I guess we could throw Baylor beating Oklahoma in there, although I don't think Oklahoma really – the fact that they were 8 as an undefeated team at 8 in the rankings tells us a lot. They haven't impressed anybody. Right? And Baylor beating them like that, they're done.
Can we talk about the ending of that game?
About the students rushing the field and all that?
Well, and then also Dave Aranda kicking the field goal and Lincoln Riley's comments. Yeah. So the clock's counting down. Baylor's going to win, and they call a timeout. And it was you didn't really notice it. And the cameras and the fans saw the clock go down. They rushed the field, so they have to pull them off. Dave Aranda kicks a field goal to, I think, then that they won by 9. 27-14 was the final score, wasn't it? I forget the score, but they went up. and his reasoning for kicking the field
keep
goal.
going. I'm gonna look up our resources.
He one of the possible tiebreakers for the Big 12 is point differential, and so his reason was, let's get extra points. It might come into play. Lincoln Riley not happy with the fans storming the field, and then says it's like not classy to kick the field goal. You know, there's sportsmanship in sports and football. I'm sorry, Lincoln. I've seen you run up the score in a lot of games.
27-14 was the final score.
Yeah, so I understand that. It was already a 2-score game, yeah.
The tiebreaker, did you mention this, Travis? I was looking up the score and not listening to a word you said. So I don't know the exact rules. We'd have to look this up. This is the kind of thing I lean on Travis for because he knows these types of things. The tiebreaker in the Big 12 standings is margin of victory.
Well, one of the tiebreakers.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, I just don't does it stink and maybe, okay, you know you're going to win, it's bad sportsmanship, but if you have the opportunity to play for a Big 12 championship as a result of point differential, that's just the playing field. I understand why Lincoln's mad. They got their ass handed to them. And so I get it. And his quarterback
I didn't understand why he was complaining to the referees, though, about the students on the field. The refs were like that cat meme where the ladies are shouting and the cat's just sitting at the dinner table. They're like, what do you want me to do?
So he wanted
We're not security guards, bro.
He wanted a 15-yard penalty assessed, which is just, come on, Lincoln. Like, I love you. I love how
really working it with 1 second left, down 10.
Like,
competitive.
But well, they have some questions to answer. They did not look good. Caleb Williams looked very bad during his time, and then Spencer Rattler got another chance to maybe write a new chapter, and that didn't happen either. And so they got a lot of questions to answer down there in Norman. And
all right, so I heard a lot.
We got to shout out Dave Aranda. He's done an awesome job at Baylor.
Yeah, he's definitely taken over in a way that is making people notice. So there's Oklahoma, and then there's Texas losing to Kansas, and
holy smokes, dude!
And they've had the season that they've had, which hasn't been great. They've now lost 5 in a row.
A lot of monkey business.
Lost 8 in a row.
Travis
before that, and Texas just can't get the monkey off their backs. But there's this criticism now that Texas and Oklahoma are not worthy of joining the SEC because of this 2021 season. And I think it's ridiculous. I mean, regardless of what they're doing this year, they're not worthy of joining the SEC.
From where?
Yeah, who's saying it, though?
Who is saying this?
It's SEC fans.
Wesley.
I think it's college football fans
Twitter.
as a whole.
It's Twitter, Wes.
Chattering on Twitter. No, it's not just Twitter.
Listen.
It's people that are looking at this with a knee-jerk reaction and saying, oh, look at how bad they are, and not considering the brands that they are.
It is a boon for the Southeastern Conference to add these 2 blue blood programs that are national brands that have a lot of money, and now they're going to have a lot more. I can't wait to see what it really means. I think I understand the value of adding the brands. I get that. But both of these programs right now have so far to go to be competitive in the SEC that let's worry about that first. Do they belong in the conference? Absolutely. Are they going to compete in the conference? I think it's going to be a minute because it's a very different brand of football than they play in the Big 12 conference. We've seen that time and again from Oklahoma in the college football playoff. They're a really good team. They score a boatload of points. They have Heisman Trophy winners and Big 12 players of the year at quarterback every single year, and then they go up against SEC teams in the playoff, and it does not go well.
Okay, but hold on a second here. With the Oklahoma, I have to defend him here. The 2 times that when it hasn't gone well in the playoffs, it's to Bama or Georgia. It's not OU's going to come in and instantly be one of the top teams.
LSU beat them by 70.
LSU,
Yeah.
like they've lost to like the top tier of the SEC.
So what the hell kind of point is that? That's
Okay.
who they got to beat to compete, bro.
Okay, but they're still going to be better than 65-70% of the conference.
How do you know that? How do you know that? South Carolina just hung 40 on Florida.
Florida
This
gave
isn't
up. Florida gave 42
I
to
don't
Sanford,
care,
Marty.
Travis. I don't care. You're making my point for me. You're like Twitter. Why don't we debate this on Twitter?
OU will come in. Is OU better than Kentucky? Yes.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, bro.
Georgia did
I
to
don't
Tennessee.
know. They just got
Look at what Georgia did to
got
Tennessee.
boat raced by Baylor. Boat race.
Tennessee's
by Baylor.
offense was the hottest in the country. Hooker, top 5, top 10 QB metrics. When you recruit defenses like Georgia does, like Bama does, like Kentucky is starting to do, I mean, you're still seeing that good defenses can be better than good offenses.
The thing about
and Georgia did it to Oklahoma already in the Rose Bowl.
The thing about
wasn't that like an overtime
analysis?
It was, and they put up a lot of points, but that was with a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in Baker Mayfield.
The thing about your analysis, though, Trav, is they're playing SEC competition.
And losing.
You're asking me if Kentucky is any good. They got beat by Tennessee, was one of the hottest teams in the country when they played Kentucky. To Wes's point, with one of the best players and most efficient players in the country who really had started to understand what his head coach wanted to do. Everything is contextual. You've heard me say this since we've been friends. 5 years. You've been hearing me say life is context and repetition. I can't wait to see what it means for Texas and Oklahoma in recruiting.
But so OU, they're already recruiting. Texas, I agree. They're going to have issues. But OU has shown that they can play with the big boys. They went into Columbus and played in the flag. Like, they're going to go into the SEC and they're going to be competing.
Dude, that was
Wes,
an
repeat
eternity
yourself.
ago.
Wes, say what you said a minute ago again.
It just comes down to good defenses taking on good offenses. And
Baker Mayfield
Oklahoma,
was different.
Yeah, man. Baker Mayfield was a different kind of X factor. And if Lincoln Riley's honest, Oklahoma probably should have beaten Georgia in that Rose Bowl, but they let him hang around. And my man Rodrigo hit that field goal before halftime, and it was game on. So you have to have a generational quarterback to make it happen. And is Lincoln Riley, by the way, is he even totally focused on this job? His name's in the hat down in Baton Rouge.
You don't need it's quarterbacks in college. It's very easy to get one and all of a sudden be great or compete.
It's hard.
Let me just remind you of something, Travis. Let me remind you of something. First of all, you're an Ohio State alumnus. Y'all have 16 5-stars in the quarterback room. It's not that easy.
It's 19, I think.
All right, Spencer Rattler. This Oklahoma quarterback thing is I think, an unprecedented story. Spencer Rattler was 99% of college football analysts, reporters, preseason Heisman Trophy favorite. He lost his job. Like, he didn't just not play great, he got benched. And I'm still trying to process that.
Oh, and if
it's not because Caleb was that much better, it was because Spencer lost it.
Well, because
how does that happen?
But also because Caleb had because Lincoln had the number one player on the bench and did something that I don't know. Other teams wish Lincoln did something that most teams wouldn't do. I mean, he was afraid he's going to lose him. Give him a chance to see what he can do. Sorry, Wes, but he didn't want a Justin Fields situation.
Yeah, we can have an entire episode about the Justin Fields situation.
And then also,
because-
if like we talk about OU's quarterback situation,
I think we should because we got both sides. All I do, I'll just sit here and watch.
go to the On Three page.
Travis and I are on a collision course in the playoffs and or national championship. Can't be and. But I have a feeling in my gut, Travis, we're about to be bumping horns here in a few weeks.
I'm fine with that, but hold on a second. For the OU quarterback situation, when they go, depending on when they get there, you go to the On Three page for the 2023 class. The third overall quarterback and the third overall player.
Great crossover, Travis.
Malachi Nelson is committed to OU. Like, they're getting the dudes. They're going to be fine.
They've had the dude. Like, I just don't understand, like, what. Okay, they had Baker Mayfield. They had Kyler Murray. Back-to-back Heisman Trophy winning #1 NFL overall draft picks.
Yeah.
Then they got Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Who was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what you mean about their, like, Spencer Rattler, probably a 5-star. Caleb Williams, probably a 5-star. Like, it's not anything new for Lincoln is a quarterback genius.
Yeah.
He is a quarterback genius.
Couldn't beat the SEC in how many tries?
A lot of people can't. Like, Ohio State.
Is this not what we're talking about though?
I think we've just done a 180 in our argument.
What you're saying
That's
is
what I think just happened.
Losing one time, they only have one chance a year to play the SEC team, and they're playing the best team in the SEC, and they're not good enough to beat that team.
I don't even want to talk about the best team in the SEC. How many points would Bama beat Oklahoma by right now? How many points would Ole Miss beat Oklahoma by right now?
I don't know if Ole Miss would beat them, though. I don't know if Ole Miss
would. You don't think Ole Miss would beat Oklahoma right now, Travis? I do.
That's the thing. It's not even the best of the best in the SEC.
We're also taking OU for this 1 year where they clearly have some issues. They've ran the Big 12 for they've won 6 in a row?
Here's where I'll meet you halfway. I'll meet you in the middle, Travis. Oklahoma is closer to being an SEC team than Texas is.
Oh yeah, it's not even close. That's why
can
y'all believe
some internal issues
that Texas got beat by Kansas?
I can actually.
I can believe it.
Texas has been bad for years.
Kansas is arguably the least competitive Power 5 program.
They were 0-100 in their last 100 games that they were getting 24 or more points, I think I saw it was.
Oh. Look, man, I did not expect this, and I have very close friends. My buddy Josh Garza over at Academy Sports and Outdoors is a Texas alumnus. He loves the Horns. And I waited 15 hours.
Snap, Travis with the horns down.
Dang, Travis just went horns down. Dude, we probably have fans in Texas. You just lost them all.
I love that I saw horns down from A&M cadet during the Ole Miss game. They're always putting those horns down, man.
McGee and I went to barbecue class at Texas A&M, right? We learned all the different parts of the cow and where it all goes on the skeleton, etc. The next day, after we shoot the feature, little vignette thing we shot, we had the 2 barbecue czars of College Station, Texas, on our set to have a conversation. One of them's name was Ray. I did not notice this live on television. It came to my attention later. The entire time the interview is happening, Ray has his hands on his thighs doing horns down the whole interview.
You know that he had a friend that probably said, "Hey, I'll give you $100 if you do it."
We had no idea, dude. We had no
idea. I gotta pivot here. Marty, what happened to your beard?
Thank you. I've been wanting to ask.
So
was it the Jack Fire or the Fireball shots?
Did you burn it off?
Okay, so yesterday, this was Sunday. I don't know. I just decided I'm going to shave it off. I'm going to shave it off. And I walked out of my room, and my wife, first of all, it was my little girl, Vivian. She's like the most perceptive person. She's like, Daddy, where'd your beard go? She said, I've never seen you without it. And it's funny, like, I look 10 years younger.
Yeah.
I look like a child.
Yeah, I thought your son had actually sat in on the episode at first when I fired up the
So
monitor.
what did Lainey say when he walked out? Martin?
Yeah, I mean, she kind of was like, she's like, I can't believe you shaved your face. I can't believe you did it. But she's all in.
Well, yeah. I mean, she married when you married is.
She's always loved my dimples.
I don't think I've ever seen you.
See him again.
I don't think I've
Have
ever
you ever seen me without a beard?
Not other than photos, but I don't think ever since we've been friends. I think you've always had something there. The one photo I think of is when you're at Virginia Tech on the field.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I had this hat on.
Yeah, I was going to say
this exact hat on. That's funny. Yeah, it's a major point of conversation with everybody that I see. I was walking my dog last night, and my neighbor, Nicole, walked out and was like,
now,
she had that confused dog look on her face, like, what in the hell?
What will it look like come Saturday when you're back on TV? How much of a beard will you have? That doesn't answer the question
right now. It's going to be
what
as
was it
smooth
like when
as
you
a baby's
first
butt.
started to sprout the facial hair on air? Did you get any static from management?
Well, I was first. See, that's what's interesting too. It used to be forbidden. It used to be you can't have facial hair. And I just started growing a beard in like 2000, I don't know, 12 maybe. I don't even know what year it was, but when I knew that it was all right, like I got a couple comments, but they were like, as long as you keep it, put together and you don't look unkempt, you'll be fine. The next thing you know, Bob Lee, the general,
if he does it,
has a beard on outside the lines. And I went, all bets are off. If the general has a beard, I'm fine.
If Bob Lee does
now everybody has a beard.
It is then that is written in stone that you are allowed to do it. If Bob Lee does it because he is, journalism 101, or maybe he's the exception and you got, don't do what he does because he can get away with it.
Journalists can have beards. That's basically what Bob Lee said.
Yeah, we had Bob Lee and Wright Thompson. I mean, that's pretty much the Mount Rushmore.
Did you?
Bob Lee led an investigative piece into whether or not journalists could have beards, and at the end of it, he concluded that it was okay.
Yep, he is the GOAT.
So I have a complaint. So last week we talked about grocery stores and having people get your stuff or not. There's an issue at the deli counter. When you order lunch meat, they wrap it up so damn many times that when you unzip the bag to reach in there and get some, it takes 10 minutes. You have to pull the thing out and unwrap it. They need to make it so that when you open it up, you can reach right in and grab the lunch meat.
There's another kind of caveat to be added to that is the cheese. When they cut the cheese, I'm waiting on you to laugh at that. So if they don't do it just right, it's just like a blob of cheese.
Oh, you're right, man.
You can't pull individual slices. You're just breaking off big hunks of cheese.
Or if they if they cut it too thin, you can't get in there.
Dude, up north where Laney grew up, they put parchment between every slice.
That's just a waste of paper.
But it works.
But it works though. That's like if you buy the packaged cheese, get like some Sargento, it has the paper in between every piece.
Did you just bust out a Sargento?
I love a Sargento pepper jack or Colby Jack.
We're a Tillamook family over here, so
I go out and milk my own cattle and make my own cheese.
When's the last time you milked a cow, Marty?
Penn State University, 2015, 16 maybe.
Speaking of your beard, they probably really loved having to put a mesh netting over your beard and everything for that.
Yeah.
That was actually the catalyst for me shaving it, Travis, is the fact that I had to put a beard
catalyst?
on to go to
I see what
barbecue
you did there.
class. I'm on one today, Wesley.
How good is that ice cream up at Penn State? Because I always hear
Oh my gosh. Dude, their creamery, it's world class sea bass. And that was so cool actually to learn about it. Go in there, watch how it all operates. They have like dairy science. He was a big major up there. I don't know if that's the exact name of the major, but it's a real big deal, and it's awesome that they have a peach ice cream that is. Look, Wesley's a Georgia guy. I was gonna say we're all Southern boys, but we got one guy over there on the left who sure as hell ain't. We know peach
Travis
ice
has
cream.
Southern traits. His Southern tendencies.
What are his Southern traits, Wesley?
yeah, let's hear
I
these.
mean, he does
He
know
likes
his
liquor?
country music. You've probably rubbed off on him, but he knows his country and he appreciates a country tune. Which, look, I know you don't have to be Southern to do that, but I don't know. He appreciates the SEC. He's more so than many Ohio State fans I know. Travis will actually give credit where it's due to SEC teams. He doesn't just
That is
live in
true.
a horseshoe vacuum. So those are
And
the two
he
that come to mind.
He is rationally critical of his favorite team. Most college football fans are irrational beings. And Travis has a rational perspective on an irrational equation. And I always appreciate that about him.
If you guys want to keep with these compliments, we can keep it going.
No, I think we're good. So
What do you
Penn
want me to-
State's Creamery,
Oh, it's great.
I've
You
heard
gotta
it's
go check it.
theirs. I've heard it's theirs, and Washington State's are like the class of college creameries.
Washington State.
And-
I didn't even know they had one, dude.
Oh yeah, man. Last year during COVID, Brian Floyd on Twitter, who I think used to work for SB Nation, he sent me like a cheese care package because he liked the Coffee Town videos. Just did Coffee Town, and I got a bunch of cheese from Pullman, and it was terrific. There's a white cheddar, there's a smoky ghost pepper, which I couldn't finish.
Did it
was
light
really
you
putting
up
hurting
like
on
a
me.
Christmas tree?
I was in trouble, man, and I had actually just come down with COVID, and I couldn't really taste much, but I could taste that cheese, man. It might have brought my taste back to life because it had so much ghost pepper in it.
Okay, how much? So I'm such a pansy when it comes to. I love hot sauce. I love hot food, like spicy food, but even sriracha. Like Lainey makes this awesome fried rice deal, and she puts egg white in it for me because I'm a nutrition nerd. And I was eating it the other night, and I put so much sriracha on that thing, I was struggling.
Sriracha is overrated.
No, it's not overrated.
It's people.
Dude, have you had the Chick-fil-A sriracha?
I haven't, but my reason
the
for
best
it
thing you
being
got going.
the reason for I say it's overrated is people swear by it and they put it on everything, and they usually put on too much. Is sriracha good in doses? Yes, but I don't need a wing soaked in sriracha. If you want to put a little drizzle on it or something, fine. But I think we overuse sriracha, and that's why it is overrated.
I think there's just too much hype around the sauce.
It's kind of like a truffle oil. It's used for everything. Like, let's calm down. Pump the brakes.
I did not expect to hear about truffle oil this morning.
I didn't see that comparison coming either, Wesley.
Yeah, Travis is losing some Southern points.
Well, I was going to say, do you really want me to just take all the Southern points you gave me and throw them away with one take?
You did a really good job right there.
That peach ice cream it's not good.
What? It's so good, man.
No.
You're just saying that because you're an Ohio State guy.
No, I honestly believe that. I just don't think it's that good. And I love
when I
ice
milked
cream.
that cow on TV, it was funny, man, because, you go over there, and I grew up on a beef cattle farm. We have beef cattle. So I go, and I'm talking to the expert guy over at the barn at Penn State, and I'm like, all right, what's the proper technique to milk the teat? And he goes, let me show you. He said, you start here and you work your way down. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, the teat wasn't working too great that day. So we had to do some extra massaging, and then by the time we got the red light turned on and we were on the television, old girl was ready to go.
That's good it didn't happen after the red light came on, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I had to make sure that my aim was true. I mean, that thing could end real bad if your aim is not true when you milk the teat.
I think you got an episode titled, Travis.
All right. Let's go back to Oklahoma for a minute. One of the most passionate, certainly most famous, and most recognizable fans of the Oklahoma Sooners is an Oklahoma native from Moore, Oklahoma, country music icon Toby Keith, somebody I've admired for a really long time, somebody that knows exactly who he is and does not apologize for it. From the second he came on the scene, which should have been a cowboy, which on the backside of the interview, maybe we should discuss its place in the hierarchy of 90s country excellence, because it's way, 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 way up top of that list. I've always admired him, and have the opportunity to get to spend some time with him and learn about his path and people that helped him along the way was very fulfilling for me. I've always admired Toby, and it was awesome to get to spend that time with him. So for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, go to your podcast provider now. Our interview with Toby was audio only, and so we don't have a video production of that to show you. So please go listen, though, because it was extremely revealing and enlightening from somebody that I feel like is one of the most influential people that country music's ever had, and on a lot of levels. Thank you so much to Toby for giving us all that time. Again, part 2 coming next week, and the boys and me will be back next week to try to solve some more of the world's problems. I didn't even discuss Eric Church at Thompson Bowling Arena. We didn't even get to that yet. I didn't even discuss.
I think you were on Luke Combs' tour bus. I mean, where are we? What are
that's
we doing?
that was from the summer.
We can discuss that at some point as well. That was SEC Network has invested so deeply in Marty and McGee, and our gratitude. I mean, I can't believe it. I'm so happy and so thankful. And one of the things that we did was when South on You became the anthem of the Southeastern Conference, we did some commercial shoots with Luke, and I should break those down and we can air them on the YouTube channel because they're funny. They are very funny, and that dude is naturally hilarious, self-deprecating. So we'll get into that another time, but I can't wait for y'all to hear part 2 with Toby Keith. Again, the boys and me will be back next week for another round. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much to our law enforcement officials all over the country working hard to keep our community safe. Thank you to our firemen and first responders and EMTs for running into the fire to help save lives everywhere. And thank you so much to all of you who have served and continue to serve in the United States military. We are so full of gratitude. We are free. And you guys and your sacrifice are the reason. Thank you. This is the Marty Smith Podcast at Outsider. I'm Marty. For Travis, Wes, and Brandon, we say thank you for investing in us. Please rate, review, and follow. It matters, y'all. Listen, it matters that you do that, because the more that you do that, the way all the algorithms work, it introduces us to other people who like this brand of content. So thank you for doing that. Please do it. Have a great week. We appreciate you. Y'all be good. We'll try to do better next time around.